Fraction review. Background. In construction, cooking, sports, and the automotive industry, the imperial system for measurement is still used, where length is considered inches, feet, and yards are used. This review is based on knowledge required for imperial linear measurement. You need to know that sections of an inch are represented as fractions. So we've got here a ruler, and you actually have, it goes from 0 to 1, and that ruler represents 1 inch. Okay, so those two little notches are the symbol for an inch. And what you can see is that we've got the inch divided up into fractions. And I'm going to start by talking about the quarters of that inch. So what that means is we've divided up the 1 inch here 4 times. So there's 4 equal parts is what that is telling us. So if I look at the ruler, I've got 0 here, 1 inch here, and I've got 1 equal part, 2 equal parts, 3 equal parts, 4 equal parts. And we can label this, each of the parts, as quarters. So 0 is going to be 0 quarters. The first quarter from 0 will be 1 quarter. The second quarter from 0 will be 2 quarters. The third notch from 0 will be 3 quarters. And 1 whole inch ends up having 4 quarters in it. Now what you'll notice down here is there's all kinds of other different fractions too, and they just depend on the number of divisions you're using to indicate how far you've traveled. So for example, I'm going to renumber down here, we've got our 1 inch. Well, if I just divide that in 2 equal parts, our number on the bottom, this case, isn't 4 equal parts, it's 2. So we end up putting 2 on the bottom here, and we've covered 1 part of the 2, so that's 1/2. And what you'll notice is that 1/2 and 2/4 are equal fractions. They cover the same distance on that ruler. Okay, now we work on to the math with the fractions. You can see here we got 3 quarters, take away 1 quarter. And we're dealing with equivalent fractions, which means they have the same denominator. So we can go ahead and we can just keep that denominator on the bottom because we're just comparing spaces on the ruler that are 1 quarter each. So if I start with 3 quarters and I take away 1 of those quarters, I am left with 2 quarters. And you can look at that fraction and you can say, okay, 3 quarters take away 1 quarter, we keep our common denominator, and really I just end up subtracting 3 minus 1 to get 2. In our second fraction, you've got 3 quarters, take away 2 quarters. We keep our common denominator, and we can look at it and say, okay, 3 take away 2 is just the number 1. Or we can look up at our ruler and say, okay, from 0, we're getting messy now, but from 0 to 4 is 1 inch. And I'm going to divide it up into quarters, so 0 quarters, 1 quarter, 2 quarters, 3 quarters, 4 quarters. If I go from 3 quarters and take away 2 of those quarters, I'm left at 1 quarter. Okay, so we can look at our ruler and get the same answer. Now, 4 quarters take away 1 quarter. Again, 4 quarters, you're taking away 1 quarter. We've got the same number on the bottom, so we can keep it. And then you just subtract the top numbers. So 4 take away 1 is 3. So 4 quarters take away 1 quarter. In question 3 gives us 3 quarters. And again, it would be just like starting up at the top and saying, okay, I want to start at 4/4, which is right at 1 inch. And I'm just going to move back 1/4. And that leaves us at 3/4. Let's look at question D. So this time you're going to start at 4/4 here. And you're taking away 2/4. So you're going to move back 1/4, 2/4, which leaves us at the halfway point from 0 to 1 inch. And that ends up being 2/4. Now what you'll notice is we can reduce that fraction further. We know that 2/4 is also the same as 1/2. It covers the same distance. So we can write 2/4 as 1/2.